I am a veteran of the Navy, and currently enrolled at ITT Tech, trying to become a network systems administrator. I was diagnosed with ADHD at age 4. Most of the time with ADHD, as you grow older, the hyperactiveness goes away. Sometimes it doesn't, and it's pretty sporadic. And it really hurts because where a normal ADD person, or for ADD, there it's like an Ushani effect, which is basically anything that happens will immediately draw their attention. It's just they can't focus on one thing for a long period of time because their brain runs at such a high rate. Our brains, for ADD and ADHD people, there's a chemical imbalance in our brain that causes our brains to run at a faster rate. Hence why if you give a ADD person or ADHD person caffeine, it will put them to sleep. Whereas a normal person will be hyper and very active and wide awake, it will actively put us to sleep. And that's because our brains run at such a higher rate. When our brains run at such a high rate, when they give us the meds, it actually causes our brain to run at a higher rate, which basically burns up all its energy, and best way to describe it, it blows it like blowing a car engine. It makes us stall out and we just go at a very low, very steady rate. But in doing so, it makes us feel like we're zombies. We're barely awake, we're barely functional, and we feel horrible. At least that was my experience. ADHD people, it's like that, except we get hyper. And so our legs will twitch or our hands will twitch, and that will actually draw our attention, and we'll start disrupting the class. And sometimes we don't even mean to, and which will tend to get us in trouble, and tend to get me in trouble. So then I got put on the meds. I got put on meds in first grade, which was Ritalin. Generally made me sick. Adderall. I was on Ritalin for about a year. Then my mom took me off of it and took me to the doc, and he put me on Adderall. And Adderall generally made me feel sluggish, tired. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to sit down and sleep. I didn't have an appetite, so I literally looked like I was a walking skeleton for most of my life. I was underweight. Actively seemed like I could lift up my shirt and look like I was starving. I would eat 2, maybe 3 bites out of my lunch, and couldn't eat anymore without feeling sick. Then, after 6th grade, my mom put me on Wellbutrin. I was on that for a little while, and then after that, I got put on Vyvanse. And Vyvanse didn't really do a lot. It didn't really help. I still felt the same. I still had the hyperactive spurts. I still didn't have any kind of focus, and it just didn't work. So I've been jumped around meds for most of my life. And then once I got out of school, I just stopped taking meds. I stopped completely, and I just basically had a tantrum about taking meds. I don't like going to the doctors because I got put on so many meds. I hate going to the docs. I hate going to any kind of medical situation unless I absolutely need to. So, and then I joined the Navy at the age of 20. And that I went in. I was in the delayed entry program, DEP. So I was in that for about a year. And then I went to boot camp, and that's when I entered the Navy. And that was at the end of January 31st. That was my first day of P days, which is the first week of boot camp. It's not even technically boot camp. After I went through that, I came out and I got put on meds. About 4 weeks in, I got put on meds for ADHD, for ADD. And it was Adderall again, and started losing weight. Lots of problems. I wouldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. I ended up being diagnosed with swing shift disorder. I had no appetite. I went sick at one point, to the point that with the Adderall meds, I couldn't even eat anything all day. I literally was sick to my stomach, not eating, not drinking, and that night I was walking into my barracks, and I passed out, hit my head on the table, and had a nice gash. Freaked everybody out. But so yeah, and then got out, came here, was in school for a little while after that, wasn't really going anywhere, just back on meds, not happy. Mom brought up the hypnotism, and after that I went, I'll give it a try. I was grasping at straws at that point. I said I'd willing to give anything a try to see if it would help. The first instance I had of being hypnotized was with my mom. She currently, her current employer, she takes care of him. So what she did is, his friend came to Dr. Martin to get rid of his smoking habits. And so she found out and heard how successful it was, and she knew I was struggling with my ADD and the medicine I was on. So what she did was, she talked to me about it, asked me if I wanted to give it a try and see if it could help. And I said yes. So what I did, so we waited a few months, kept talking about it, and eventually she made the call, set up the appointment, and we came here in January. It was surprising because I didn't fully go under when I was being hypnotized. I was still aware of what was going on. It was a little disconcerting when my arm started moving without my permission, but you gotta, that's one of the things. He wasn't really talking to me, he was talking to my subconscious. So, but getting a little off track there. But how I felt when I fully came out of it was, I was invigorated, because felt like it was working. I mean, I felt new, I felt better about myself. I didn't feel like just sitting around not doing anything anymore. I felt like going up and go do something. I had to get up and go. So it took a little bit to. I felt better, but at the same time I was really tired, because I was basically, like he says, I was getting rewired subconsciously. So I was tired, but after a little while, after the tiredness wore out and everything basically just kind of situated and settled, I felt better. I felt invigorated. I started slowing down on my meds after I think it was third session that we taught, and that was the one where we talked about ADHD. I could be wrong on that session, I'm not sure. But after we did that, I slowly stopped taking. I was already slowing off my meds anyways, because I was just so tired of taking meds. So after that, I was almost completely winged off of them anyways, so I just said, enough of it, I'm done after that session, and I just went cold turkey after that. And I had some withdrawal symptoms, and they sucked. They sucked hard. But I couldn't do anything about it, because I sat there and said, I'm not going to take any more meds. I'm done with taking meds. I'm done feeling like a zombie. So I've been off my meds for about 7 months, and feel better. Don't feel like I'm a zombie. Don't have any kind of hyperactive jumps. And my life's been going good. Main things I've accomplished in my sessions is I've been able to focus better. I've been able to help with my memory. Memory's never perfect, but whose is? And I've been able to focus when I need to focus and be less distracted. My confidence has gone through the roof, and I feel great most of the time now. I feel like I actually can succeed, where most of the time before I started my sessions, I didn't think I could go anywhere in my life. One of my main problems was my self-confidence, because after being on medication for so long and generally feeling tired, it tends to affect your self-confidence in a way that, for all intents and purposes, makes you feel like you don't have any kind of self-worth. And so with that self-confidence boost, I felt, hey, I actually have worth. I actually can do stuff. And then with the ADD treatment session, I wasn't going, ooh, shiny, or looking at the butterfly as it floats away, and or chasing the red dot like a cat does. So, and then we helped with my memory. And classic sign of ADD is we got bad memory because we can't focus on one thing for long. And so that helped as well. That helped me organize my memory, where I could actually remember and I could actually understand what was going on. And so with those, it helped build, those were the core to help me building a new person out of myself and becoming a new person and becoming successful. So it was a great idea and a great thing that I did. Like, I'm glad I came. I smile a lot more now. Most of the time, it was like people had to fight to get me to smile. And it was, why are you so upset? I'm not upset. Dude, you look like you're about to kill somebody. No, I'm not. I'm just standing here. And this is normal for me. And they're like, that can't be normal. And so now it's, why are you smiling so much? I'm just happy. So.
Just happy. You found joy in life.
Yeah. For a while, for most of my developing years, I was not happy. I had no joy. The only happy I got was from video games and reading. So literally, it was the only joy I got was from being by myself, sitting in a room by myself, staring at a TV or reading a book. I had maybe 2 friends growing up, and they went to different schools, so I rarely saw them. I've got about 4 friends now. That's twice as many I've had most of my life. I can actually go and talk to somebody without thinking they're going to hate me in the process. I actually sit there and have conversations with random people at the drive-thru just because I can, and I'm feeling great. So I've had a 100% turnaround in my dental opinion of the world, or at least my view of it, how I'm able to interact with people. If you got a problem, find help. If most of the standard doctors you go to aren't helping you, try a hypnotist. You never know, they might actually help you. Look at me. I was on last string. Pretty much, I was depressed, hated my life, actively hated my life. And it was horrible. It really was. And I am so glad I went and talked to my mom, talked to me about going to a hypnotist. So if you need the help and if you think they can help you, give them a try. Seriously, give them a try. You never know until you tried. So, hey, take it from a guy who's had the work, who's done the work, who's talked to the person, and who's given it a try. It helps. So, give it a try. That's my words for y'all.